I think the NFL, as far as star power, specifically in the quarterback rooms, is in the best shape of any league because you've got old-time great veterans that are the Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, old-time. Then you got mid-level guys who've been around, the Russell Wilsons of this world who've been around. Those guys are great and can still put up crazy numbers and still really good. And then you have a lot of young dudes. I would put Mahomes, I would put Josh Allen, I would put Justin Herbert, and a handful of others. That I'd put Tua in there. You never know what that kid's going to do. So it's like there are so many franchises. The quarterback for the Jets, if he ever stops hanging out with his mom's friends.
The second year guys, like you look at Trevor Lawrence last year, Trey Lance is going to start. Zach Wilson.
So where does Jimmy Garoppolo go?
I don't know. I think you got to hold out and just kind of figure out, because unfortunately.
Who would he help the most?
I don't know. Like if he went to Seattle, I think he was probably better than the guys that they have there right now. But there's not a lot of, but also, the bad part of training camp is that sometimes these jobs come open. Sam Bradford was traded to Philadelphia a couple of years ago because an injury opened up a spot. Like, honestly, if I'm the Commanders, why did you spend all that money for Carson Wentz?
That's right.
We could have gotten Jimmy Garoppolo instead. I know that Garoppolo's coming off an injury, and that kind of, hurt things a little bit.
But Wentz isn't. Wentz had the most gruesome injury ever a couple of years ago. What about Garoppolo to a team like the Bears? Now, I know you don't want to curb what Justin Fields is doing. That's not going to do that. But, he's a guy that if things aren't working, he's a kind of a insurance policy almost, if you will.
I mean, that's why they brought in Trevor Siemian. They brought in the guy from Northwestern. He comes in. Yeah, he's the guy. He's not going to push him. You want to commit to your number one quarterback.
You want Justin Fields to work out.
That's the biggest issue. What happened last year is they drafted Justin Fields.
When has an Ohio State quarterback worked out? But that's unbelievable prospects.
But these guys are not being drafted as number one quarterbacks. Like there have been since Art Schlichter. There's been one other first round quarterback who was Dwayne Haskins, and then it was Justin Fields. They were not producing. It's not like they were turning out these quarterbacks who were first round draft picks who went on to be busts. They were like guys who were good college quarterbacks who weren't specifically going to play well in the NFL.
They had NFL running backs. They had defensive guys and they had wide receivers, Ohio State, for
But
years
now that'll
years.
probably start changing with Ryan Day, and then we'll start seeing more Ohio State quarterbacks, and it's just a narrative that's hopefully going to go away. But like a lot of teams, like when you draft a quarterback in the first round, you should use him. Let him take first team reps. It's insane.
I mean, you should give it a try. You absolutely should give it a try. And I feel like teams are more willing to do that because
everybody was doing it last year. Mac Jones, they got the Patriots got rid of Cam Newton, who Cam Newton could obviously still play, but they're we don't want any distractions. But the Bears, the Patriots get rid of a Hall of Famer.
Right.
But the Bears are we got Andy Dalton. We can't insult this guy. We promised Andy Dalton. No. Andy Dalton's your friend that you barely see, that you flake on at the last second. That's fine.
I'm sorry, Andy.
Sorry, Andy.
I remember I told you I was going to go to the movies with you.
I know you bought the tickets. But
exactly. You can find someone else to go with you. It's 5 minutes before the movie. Andy Dalton's sitting there with an extra ticket. Surprises this year, teams that you feel like will surprise you. Who do you think is going to come out of nowhere and have a season that will be memorable?
I would say, who a team I don't want it to be? I don't want it to be Detroit, because people are already
Hard Knocks,
on the line. That's the thing.
Hard Knocks is the curse of Hard Knocks.
I'm tired of Detroit already. Everybody acting.
Hard Knocks hasn't even started.
I know,
yet.
But it's every Dan Campbell interview, you're just saying ridiculous things. Kyle Brandt was on Good Morning Football talking about, what was his saying? Unfragile.
He had something about drowning the other day.
We're going to keep churning. We're going to keep churning until we bury you. That's not the metaphor. That's not even a metaphor.
Churning
and
until
everybody,
we bury.
They want to act hey, they were 3-3 at the end of last year. They were 3-14. That's 3-3. That's not a good thing.
You want to be 3-3 at the end of the year, not 3 wins and
Oh my gosh, is Jared Goff still the quarterback? Did I miss a memo where Jared Goff was replaced by somebody? He's still there. Exactly. Okay, so why are we acting like
Aiden Hutchinson, program-changing player, and he might be, I think he has in him J.J. Watt DNA. And you watch the Hard Knocks of the Houston, and he was the guy in Houston. He was the guy who stayed after and signed every autograph. He was the guy that the kids were really excited to see. if Aiden Hutchinson can be that, and I'm saying, look, he may be more TJ Watt than JJ Watt, but like you never know.
Whatever, like that.
Even
TJ
that
Watt would be pretty good.
TJ Watt would be amazing.
I think I would take TJ Watt, especially at this point.
Maybe that's the beginning of the turning around.
I like it, and he's a hometown guy, and it's a great story.
Great story.
I don't want to besmirch. I don't want to besmirch Detroit. Like they're fine.
Yeah.
Like again, you talk about wrestling. You need the jobber.
You need
the jobber that you think is going to win. You're like, is he's
the guy who shows up in the ring?
Is Taka going to beat Triple H? Like I don't know.
He's the guy who shows up in the ring. He's already in the ring. He doesn't have a sweat coat or anything.
Yeah.
He just has like kind of a not that glittery jacket.
Yeah,
like
just kind of comes
Dave
in.
Smith is.
But is he
going to
get over? Like when you first time you saw Orange Cassidy, you thought like that gimmick wouldn't work, and then you're like, oh my god, this guy's amazing. I don't want that for the Lions.
Orange Cassidy is the Vanilla Sky of wrestlers. There you go.
My gosh.
How about that?